For this week, actually I'll be more bearish than bullish. Okay, so we'll be looking for a sell. Hey guys, FOREX right here. Welcome back to our weekly forecast. So this is a weekly analysis for the 12th to the 16th of May. Okay, and if you're new to the channel, please do well to smash the subscribe button, turn on post notification, and let's get over to the business of the day. So without further ado, we are starting off with BTC as usual. Just like you guys already know the tradition here, BTC has given us the most wins for the longest. Okay, you guys can remember how I projected and predicted BTC push all the way from these levels all the way back to 100% retracement level that I said price was, especially from when price was here and when price was here, which I also took these buys and I also sent it as a signal to you guys on the general community. That's why it's very important to join a free Telegram community. The link is in the description. So I predicted the bullishness of Bitcoin all the way from the 74k all the way back to 108k. We are aiming at 108k. So in case you did not watch the video or you think I'm capping, here is the video. Because I'm more like seeing it seems like the BTC is going to retrace, which I have published this on my Twitter. So if you are not following me on Twitter, please do well go follow me on Twitter. I'm seeing a massive turnaround on BTC heading back to the 1008, all right, back to 1008, and even creating a new highs of getting to 120. Okay, 120 guys. So that's actually my projections on BTC. Welcome back. So you can see how I predicted this is like since April. I think that's since like April, the first week between March and April. Okay, when price was still somewhere around these candles. Okay, some weeks ago, that was like the first week. So, and we are now in the, is it the third or the second week of May? So you can see how long, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so I predicted this like 5 to 6 weeks back of Bitcoin turnaround, and I also published this on my Twitter beforehand, and they don't just, that's why I say I don't just preach what I don't just say these things, I do what I preach. Okay, I did not just publish this, I sent you guys this beforehand. I sent it as a signal and I shared it, all my BTC trades. I like sharing all the BTC trades on the general community, because these are the kind of trades that will help you flip your account and make some good money for yourself. I'm actually going to do an in-depth video analysis on how I was able to see these sales, because remember, since last December, November, December, I projected the sales, which I took very well, and I also projected the buys too. Okay, so these are the reasons why most of you call me the prophetic analyst, because we are able to decipher these things beforehand and try to see how we can make money for ourselves. Okay, so moving forward, so let's see for the current week or for last week, we can see price close with this massive bullish candle. So let's go to our hourly candle, or let's check our daily candle first and see how price actually closed. Okay, so this was yesterday's candle, so today's Saturday, this is today's candle. So let's go to our hourly candle, which is more like the execution time frame for us. Okay, so Bitcoin is quite tricky right now. It's quite tricky because price is in a no man's zone. Okay, a no man land, rather, a no man land. So you can see here on the hourly time frame, we have some sort of ranges here on the hourly time frame. So the best thing you could do is to just trade it using a range strategy, in which we used to trade. You can just use a range strategy to mark out these levels. Okay, All right, this is what we teach in our mentorship, and these are the kind of trading confirmations that you need to enter this trade right now, because Bitcoin is more on a no man's land. So anything could happen. Like I said, we are still projecting price to get to 108k. Okay, so we are still projecting price to, and we are still very much bullish. So we could have a break, retest, and a push continuations to 108. Okay, 108k on Bitcoin, or we could have price break, retests, push continuations, and a drop, maybe back to like 97k. Let me put something here. Right, maybe back to like 97k thereabout, then before we have a continuation. But for now, using current price action, we are still very much bullish. Okay, and looking left, let's go to a 4-hour time frame. We should be able to see, looking left, is quite far, but looking left here, you can see we have some resistance right about here. That price may wish to react for some pullbacks, some meantime pullbacks. So due to what we have currently while analyzing this video, okay, we are still very much on a nice bullish trend, and price is still very much bullish. And for last week, there were some nice trades that we also took, which I might have forgot to also add to you guys. Okay, we had some nice good wins. We took this, you guys can remember this bearishness I sent out to you guys during last week, okay, on the live call. When I was creating the video, we had a very nice entry, a nice TP. I told you guys I'll be going for a 1:4, 1:5 due to what price gives me. Then on seeing price reversals pattern somewhere around here, my mentees will know what we could spot here to see price had reversed. Then we also went for the bullishness again, but unfortunately I left when I made another 1:4 on that trade, and since price was close to my 100% retracement level, okay, so I took away like 90%. I took away 90% of that trade on there, and we were able to make some good money for ourselves. And I'm still swinging 10% on this trade. I just wish I was able to hold it for long, at least to swing up to 40 to 60% on this trade. But regardless, we always know how to enter and how to exit, and money was being made. Okay, so that's it. Sorry guys that we are spending so much time on BTC, but that's it on BTC. Next trade call for the week is Xauusd for gold, as tradition. So for last week, we had these two levels, these upper levels and these lower zones. Okay, like you guys know, I call them my areas of interest. So we wanted for a break, retest, and a push continuations to the downsides, which that did not happen. Okay, so how price actually closed on Friday. Price actually closed with these two bearish candles on Friday. So we thought when price would open, okay, we are going to have some nice bearishness from that zone, but that did not happen as at Friday. But price rather had to go back into open Monday. Okay, Monday open with so much massive bullishness all the way back to the upside and back to our second zones, in which we already had around here. And price, then when I had my entry confirmations, we were able to take the sales, though we were being wicked out from that price, and price later went to our direction. That would have been a nice 1:3 for us, but those are part of the things about trading. You win some, you lose some. Okay, so for this week, let's see how last week actually closed. Okay, let's see how the weekly candle is very important to see how the weekly candle closed. So you can see we had this reversal candle, the hammer, the pin bar, whatever you call it, a doji. So price is still rejecting from last week off that previous candle, influenced by this candle. So we are still seeing, I still perceive we would still have more bearishness. Okay, because it seems like the China and the US wars are coming to an end. Okay, the Chinese government are now reducing the tariff, and I think they are now getting to an agreement. So what does that mean? You guys already know gold as a safe haven. So if the China US war stops, okay, economic war stops, that means people are going to pull out their money from gold and invest it back to the dollar. Okay, so that means the dollar is going to gain strength. Okay, you guys are going to see more in depth on this when we analyze the DXY. So if the dollar gains strength, people will be pulling out their money or their investment from gold. And what does that mean? Gold would drop. Okay, so using these fundamentals, though I don't really speak much about fundamentals, but is ideal you have a little or good knowledge about fundamentals. Okay, so for the coming weeks, we have a very nice zones right about here. Right, we have a very nice minor zone. Actually, we have a minor zone in which price is reacting here. So we'll work with these two zones, then I'll extend this other zone like so. Okay, so we could have start selling from here. I'll still be giving you guys bearishness, guys. I'm not up for that bullishness for now, but if the bullishness comes and I have my trading confirmations, I'll take it. Okay, so you could start selling from here when market opens on Monday or Sunday midnight. Then you take price. Then we should be looking at price going to 3,100 ounce. Okay, or this is a more impulsive entry from here to 3,100 ounce. Okay, to have a more safer entry, a more conservative entry, is to wait for price to break this area, to break the 3,200 ounce, retest that area. Then just like last week, then we should be targeting 3,150 ounce to the downside. All right, so that'll be it for gold. Right, so for Eurusd, last week, same thing. Price was more like a little bit tricky last week, guys. Price was very tricky last week. So instead of price to continue bearish from these zones which we marked out and go into our phase zones, which later on price actually did went to that phase zone. Okay, so price had to weak us out. We actually had a trade call which I called here. Okay, and we made little profit. I don't think it was up to a 1:1. Okay, and later on price took us out before. Just you can see that weak, the less than 32 pips. Okay, 32 pips there before now going all the way to a direction. So like I said, you win some, you lose some. So probably, but this was a very nice, no regrets, this was a very nice trading confirmations for us. You see that bearish engulfing candle, this would have been a very nice sales for us, but price just wicked us out a little bit back to this other zone. Okay, a little bit back to this other zone before we had that sales. Okay, so moving forward for the coming weeks, so I'm going to adjust this to the current price action, take this out. Okay, so you see how I did that very easily. Okay, so we could be looking for, so what are we looking for this week's would be a buy to sell scenarios. Okay, so always remember to target 100% retracement level, which is a 1.11850. then we could go as deep as a 1.0716 to the downside for Euro USD. So just like I said last week, you could because how this price actually closed is a very nice confirmation. You could put your stop somewhere around these highs and you could target 100%, but that will be a 1:1. I don't do ones. And you could target this next zone, which is a very nice risk to reward right about there, which is a 1:3. So that will be what we'll be looking for on Euro USD for next week. Up next is GDP USD. Or GDP USD, without taking much of your time, for last week we can see that the GDP USD was even more horrible because we still had a range continuations for last week. So what I'm going to do, do I have to redefine this? I can redefine this a little bit. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I can redefine these zones like so, expand it or extend it a little bit. So we still be working with these two zones, guys. Okay, so just like we wanted last week, we could look for break retest to the upsides or a break retests all the way to the downsides. Like I said, we are still favoring the downsides of things. Okay, that I'm going to show you guys why when we analyze the DXY, because we know GDP USD is inversely correlated to the DXY. So if you are going for the sales, you should be looking at 100% retracement level, which is at 1.271 all the way to the downside for GDP USD. Up next is the DXY. Here on the DXY, let's see how price actually closed for last week on the weekly candle. Okay, we had cause for concern looking left. Okay, looking left, you can see these areas of interest in which price has been reacting off there. So there was possibilities, and in which if price comes back here like it did for the past 2 weeks, price has been dancing around that zone for the past 2 weeks. Okay, so there was possibilities of bearishness from there, but from my own strategy and the look of things, price should be continuing upsides. Okay, but that happened later on, I think on Wednesday or Thursday thereabout. Okay, but still price still played out just like we wanted. Okay, but it happened quite late. Okay, so we wanted price to give us this breakthroughs retest and first levels, which you can see price went to that area. Then we are targeting like 102 areas. Okay, but when price market open, price went deeper to these zones before it continued pulling to the upside. So it's no issue there. Okay, all what we can do, I'm going to move this right about like so, just like last week. Okay, so here we are going to have this phase zone. Let me extend this like so a little bit. So we would be targeting our phase zones of our 100.861. okay, then we could go all the way to our 102.92 to the upside. So we already have that break, that retest of the zone, so we should be expecting more bullishness next week. Just like I said, the dollar may be gaining strength from next week because the economic war between trade war between the US and the Chinese government, okay, is lessening down. Okay, so if that happens, that means the dollar is going to gain strength, and you know the DXY is used to gauge the strength of the dollar. So if you have the dollar being bullish, okay, we can see we already have some nice 2 bullish candles right about there. If you have the dollar being bullish, okay, for next week, that means Euro USD, GDP USD, they are all going to sell. Okay, so this is more like what we should be seeing for next week on the dollar. Okay, so up next is USD card. So for USD card, right, price has been also ranging here, so I'll mark that out like so. Easy busy for us. Target, first level target, second level target, these highs. So let me expand that a little bit for us to see. So you can just take your longs from here. All right, you can just take your longs from here, stop loss below that zone. Okay, then you can target that phase zones like so. Okay, or price could be tricky enough to wanting to pull back into these zones, then continue to our 1.406. all right, then we could go as deep as a 1.427. just like I said, mind you, USD card is directly correlated to the dollar index. So what does that mean? If the dollar index is bullish, we should be seeing same on USD card. Okay, up next is USD CHF. For USD CHF for last week, okay, we still have these 2 zones. All right, we still have these 2 zones, but I'll definitely be favoring the upsides. Things are much easier and clearer right now. Okay, no too much analysis on this. Stop loss there, your stop loss below this week's, and we should be targeting our next levels of 0.856. next week we should be making a lot of money next week, guys. So just get your money ready, get your trader accounts, join our free Telegram community, and also if you are feeling what we are doing to this level, smash that like button and subscribe. Okay, so that will be it for this week on this trading analysis. And if you have any questions, drop it on the comment sections, drop some fire emojis, and do well to always plan your trades and trade your plan. See you guys on the other side. Cheers.